Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel if it's not your first time here. I really want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming to check out some of my content. Hey, if you like the video that you're about to see, please take a moment and hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. We're growing pretty fast, and that's thanks to you. I really appreciate your help with that. It really helps expand the coverage and the visibility of the videos here, and it helps the channel to grow and really helps me to continue to do these things for the viewing audience. So, Remarkable has made some tremendous updates over the last couple of beta updates. If you're not part of the beta program, you might want to consider joining that because these are some significant updates and some very often requested updates that we're going to talk about today. So, the last two beta updates were 3.22 and 3.23. They brought some things like handwriting search in the 3.22 update. They've also, in the most recent update, one of the most requested features I've heard and that I've also requested is the ability to sort alphabetically tags. And that really makes your tagging system easier to go through. I think by default, they're sorted just by the most recent first and your least used last. So it's really, if you have hundreds of tags, it's really difficult to go through those things. They've also added some additional templates to support not only the Remarkable Paper Pro, but the Paper Pro Move, the smaller 7.3-inch device. And then they've got some stuff like movable toolbars and just some other functions and some changes that have really improved the platform quite a bit. And they're really exciting if you're a Remarkable user to see that they're beginning to listen to the community. I'm not saying that they haven't in the past, but they're really beginning to listen to the community and start implementing some of these updates. We're just going to go ahead and dig into those now. So for this video, I'm going to be using the Remarkable Paper Pro as my device of choice here. It's just easier to see on the video than the Remarkable Paper Pro Move would be, so we'll use this one. Everything that I'm going to talk about here is also applicable to the Move as well. So when we look at Beta 3.22, there's a couple of things that were introduced there. One of the things with it is that they've got new icons. They've done some different things with the icons there. Done some shading in the top left corner, some accents and stuff like that. Really a minor update there. They're just trying to change and enhance the design of it and make it look a little bit more three-dimensional and not so much as of a line drawing. Another feature of 3.22 is the movable toolbar. So typically the toolbar was either on the left side of the screen or the right-hand side of the screen, depending on if you chose that you were left-handed or right-handed in settings when you set up the device, or at any time that you wanted to go back in there and change it. Now the toolbar is accessible from any one of the four sides of the screen. As you can see, I've got it at the bottom, and that really comes into play with the Remarkable Paper Pro Move, and I think that this may be why they implemented this feature. I'll show you the toolbar on the Move for a second. So on the smaller device, and I've got a template showing here that's not really made for the Move, it's for the Remarkable Paper Pro, the larger device, but for the Move, it's much skinnier. The aspect ratio is 16:9, whereas it's 4.3 on the, or 4:3 on the larger device. So it means that you've got a taller aspect ratio here. So if you were to not make the toolbar available anywhere but on the left or the right-hand side of the screen, you're using up some of the width of your screen that's already available. I think that they implemented the toolbar to be able to drag it to different parts of the screen just for the Move, and typically you can grab the button and drag it wherever you want to go. But I really think they did that for the Remarkable Paper Pro Move because you've got more vertical real estate there. And if we were kind of forward thinking, probably could have predicted there was a smaller device or a different form factor based on this update coming out before the Move was announced. But anyway, really cool. I appreciate that. I like to use my toolbar at the bottom because I'm left-handed. So if it's at the top, I typically try to hit something if it's on either side. I'm not a big fan of that. I like to use it on the bottom. So kudos on that enhancement, Remarkable. So the next feature that they implemented in 3.22 was handwriting search. And there's been some controversy about this. This is still in beta. There were some questions about, does it work reliably? And yeah, for me, it does work reliably. It does require some time to index your notes. Otherwise, you can't go write something in a note and say, I know that I don't have the word cherry anywhere else in any of my notes. I'm going to go ahead and write that in that note, and I'm going to close it. It's not going to, it probably will not have indexed that by now. I'm going to go in here and try to search it, and it says 0 matches. So it does need time to index. To me, it takes a little while to index. It's not just a matter of a few minutes. We'll come back and we'll try that word here once I do another demonstration. So I have a notebook that I use that I created that's 5,108 pages long. The reason it's so long is I have it divided up into 30 different subjects. I'll show you this real quick. It's my 30 subject notebook. I use it for work. All of these are tied to specific, I'll just show you here. They're tied into specific sections or topics where I can have up to 52 different notes there as well. So there's a lot of pages on this, 5,108. So I'm going to do a search. I'm going to get out of the document. I'm going to do a search through all of my documents for a word that I went in and I just found a word that was in there that I wanted to search for that would be rather unique. And I've got the word recovery, yeah, on a specific page of a specific note, and it's the only notebook that exists on here. So it's going to take a second to search that big notebook. And this is a PDF, by the way. So you can not only search your handwritten notes on the native templates, but you can also do it in PDFs. And it's not only handwriting, it's also text. So let's go ahead and do a search. I'm going to do a search for the word recovery. Whoops, might help if I spell it correctly. And I did a search for it earlier. It probably took about 15 to 20 seconds for this search to come back, or maybe a little bit longer than that. Since I've already done that search one time, it came back relatively quickly this time, but I'll just show you what it looks like when I go into that. It's probably going to take a minute to search again. I think it's probably going to go through that search again within the document, which is going to take it's going to take a little while. So I may clip this out and tell you how long it took. Okay, it found the page. That took about 40 seconds. Once it got into this 5,000 page document, it took about 40 seconds for it to return all the instances of the word recovery, which happened to be on the same page. It shows me that there are two results. I can go from previous to next. They happen to be here on the same page. It highlights the word recovery here. As you can see, I didn't have very good handwriting on that. You can't make out the R and the Y there, but it certainly interpreted that as the word recovery accurately. Told me that there were two matches found down here. I can cycle through these by hitting next, and it'll go down and highlight the next version. If it was on multiple pages, I can hit next, and it would go to either the next instance of that in the document, or the next document if it found it in a different document as well. So it's very accurate. It works very well, but it does take some time to index your notes. I would say from my experience that the word cherry probably has not indexed yet. Let's see. And I'm correct. I find that it takes a little while, maybe, 20, 30 minutes before it will go back and index all your notes. And that's just anecdotal time. I haven't really timed that, but it's certainly not instant. So don't get frustrated if you go to search for a word that you just wrote, because it's not going to show up for a little while. And so I wanted to point out that not only can you search from the search icon here on the home page, but also if you're in a document, for example, if I'm in 2025 calendar, I can also search from within the calendar by coming over here to the hamburger icon and hitting search here, and then that limits the search to only that document, which would be much faster if you're not having to search the entire device. So those are the major features of the beta 3.22. I want to talk about beta 3.23 that just came out over the last couple of days prior to me making this video. And there's really three changes on this, two changes to the device, and then there's some new remarkable methods templates that are only available to people with a Connect subscription. And I need to go back and tell you that the handwriting search is also a required Connect subscription to be able to get those features, which is $2.99 a month. Some people balk at that. I do not. I think that, as much as I use a remarkable device, it's not my only device, and it's not my main device, but I use this device every day, typically for journaling and for some other uses. But I find that the $2.99 a month is a very small price to pay to give me great functionality in the Remarkable. Not everybody feels that way, and I certainly understand that, and understand why some people would not want to pay that. But anyway, so there's some new methods templates that are available in for both the large Remarkable devices, the Remarkable 2 and the Remarkable Paper Pro, and then there's some new templates that are available specifically for the Move that I'll show you here in just a second. So first of all, if you're wondering what you get with that $2.99 a month subscription, you can see that there are a ton of templates for from what they call Remarkable Methods. A lot of the community, such as My Deep Guide, Designer Kit, some other major contributors of templates that you'll find on places like Etsy or on the designer's own websites are available here. So they've curated some of those. They've also created their own templates that are both single page templates and sometimes workbooks. For example, the calendars and to-do lists that you'll find on there are workbooks that are hyperlinked PDFs that are very premium feeling, work really well. You also get the send to Slack feature. Our company doesn't use Slack, so I don't have the ability to test that. But I'm sure that some folks will find usability in that. You also get unlimited cloud storage. It doesn't matter. I guess you could fill up your device and you can continue to back those up in the cloud. And let's see, you can create and edit in the apps using text input via iOS or Android or Windows or the Mac apps. You can actually create your own notes there. And then if you buy a new device and you subscribe to the Connect subscription, you also get an extended warranty on your device as well. So here are some of what you can get on the or templates that you can get from Remarkable Methods. You can get stuff like bullet journals, and it'll typically tell you where these templates came from. Like this one came from a builder called Bullet Journal. This one came from Strategizer. This is a Remarkable specific template built by Remarkable. You've got some names that you may or may not recognize, like My Deep Guide, Voya over at My Deep Guide. His meeting planner is in here. So these are some of the ones that are under featured, but you've got categories for planning, from the community. I'll show you some of those. You can see Nest Labs, Nir Ayal, Morning Coach, JB Glessinger, for the folks that are familiar with him. Designers Kit Co. I've bought several templates from Designers Kit Co. They're really high quality templates and workbooks. So tremendous quality that you can get there. Here's some more stuff by Designers Kit Co. We've got Nest Labs. We've got some other names in here. And they just continue and continue. There's a ton of templates that are available through this Remarkable Methods. You've got productivity, you've got strategy, and here's an example of, these are built by Remarkable. So here's an example of the 2025 to-do list, which I like to use this one. They've got it available for the large Remarkable, and they've got it available now for the Move. And if you go in and look at this, they'll give you some examples of what it looks like. These are all hyperlinked, where you can go to the overview page and see a year at a time, and you can, hyperlinked all these numbers to take you to a specific day, and you can create a to-do list by day that's very specific to the Remarkable Paper Pro Move. So I find a lot of value in some of the templates there, and you've probably noticed that I've got a lot of those installed on my device as I use them pretty much day in, day out for different functions. I do use Outlook for work, so a lot of my calendar planning is in the Outlook app, so I don't use that really for work. I do use it for home. I do use the to-do list a lot because there's just something about a handwritten to-do list that, to me, makes me feel accomplished, gives me the satisfaction of knowing that I've, I like to put it on paper, so to speak, electronic paper, and then check those boxes manually. So the next new feature that I'll go over in the 3.23 beta, which is the most recent one, is also a Connect feature. You have to be a Connect subscriber to get access to this, but it's called Create a Link. This is not hyperlinking between notebooks, as you might expect. I still highly recommend Remarkable to implement that feature, but that's not what this is. So this feature lets you convert notes and sketches into an online page that you can edit and share with others, and you can, also like share meeting notes. I'm going to use an example of a PDF that I've got here. This is that to-do list that I was showing you that's made specifically for the Remarkable Paper Pro Move. I've just got some things on here that I put on there. What's cool about this is you can't convert handwriting to text on a PDF typically in the Remarkable, but using this method, you can actually do that. So there is a new feature on here where you can go and you can say, I want to share. And then there's a new thing down here called create a link. So when I do this, it's sending to the email that I've got on file there. It says the link has been sent to your email. I can open a QR code for somebody to scan, or I can go into my email and show you what that looks like. Okay, in my email, I get an email from Remarkable that says your link is ready. Your work has been converted into an online page. Take a look at it, edit any converted text, change the expiration date, delete it, whatever you want to do. Copy and paste, send it to somebody else. You can, it's got a expiration date right here until March 24th. I can go in and change that to whatever date I want to. Looks like that's going to be slow to come up, but I can actually change the expiration date here, and I will not show my calendar. But let's go ahead and open the link and see what it looks like. So not only do I get a picture, or do I get a PDF version of the document, and this is taking just a minute to open up. I'm going to just say accept all the cookies. All right, so it has given me a converted version of my to-do list, complete with checkboxes, strike through on the converted text, and then it also gives me the actual picture or the PDF version of what what the original handwriting looked like on that. So you can certainly copy that, you can send it to anybody else that you want to send it to, and it's just a really cool way of doing that. So if you need to convert handwriting on a PDF document on a Remarkable, this is a cool way to do it. Now there is a limitation in that this will only do one page at a time, which is a little bit of a bummer. It would be nice if they would let you select multiple pages and do that, but they don't do. They don't allow that. All right, so the last feature I want to show you from the 3.23 beta, which is the most recent one that is not a Connect feature, it's available to everybody, is the ability to sort your tags alphabetically. So there's two different ways to find your tags and to sort your tags. So you can come into the hamburger icon here, click on tags. This will show you all the tags that you currently have on your Remarkable device. It's sorted initially by your most frequently used to your most infrequently used, and it only shows you a portion of those. If you have a ton more, I'll show you how many I've got. It only was hiding one there. So I've got a decent amount of tags. I know that some people have hundreds and hundreds of tags. Mine are very specific to people or projects at work that I have preset here. So you can click on that view more, or sorry, view all, and then you've got another option that pops up here for view all. And then it's got your tags sorted alphabetically. You can come over here and change your alphabetical sort from Z to A, or you can make it from A to Z, and it will sort each way. So you can just, pick a tag or pick multiple tags if you wanted to. And then when you hit the back button here, those tags are selected and your document list is filtered to just those tags. Now, recently in preparation for this new feature, I went in and deleted all my tags and my tag documents, and I wanted to make my list cleaner. I had a bunch of stuff in there that was just kind of cluttering up my tags. So I went back in and I made them more purely what I use in my job. And so that's what you see here, and that's why I don't have very many tag documents. So you can do that universally looking at the tags here, but you can also go into a document. I'm going to just go into an empty document just to pull up the tag function. As you can see, it's also here showing the most recently used tags, but I can hit this view all and it shows me that same list sorted alphabetically. I can also, reverse alphabetical sort on that as well. But just a couple of different ways that you can see your tags and that you can sort your tags. So I'm very excited about these new updates and really excited for what Remarkable is doing to address what their users are requesting. I know it's infamous now if you're if you participate in Reddit, the circle guy. I don't know who that was, but Remarkable did not have a hold to create perfect shapes like circles and triangles and squares and stuff like that. But there was a guy or a user on Reddit that for like 40 or 41 days, every day posted and said, I'm going to keep posting until Remarkable introduces the ability to hold and create shapes. And they finally did. And they made that a they were very clever with the way that they introduced that. And they kind of tipped their hat to the circle guy, is what he became known as. I think these other features that we're seeing, the handwriting search and especially the tag sorting, is something that people have been asking for a long time. I know I have. It really adds a ton of functionality to the device, especially since the handwriting search works on PDFs. It would have been a terribly crippling thing to do to make it only work in the native templates. But they did make it to where it works in PDFs, not only handwriting, but also in your text as well. So, hats off to Remarkable. This is not a sponsored video. I know it sounds like I might be. I'm really a fan of Remarkable. As I said, I use a lot of e-ink devices. I do use the Remarkable in some way, shape, or form daily. It's not always my daily driver for work, but I do use it for some functions throughout every day. So anyway, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider liking the video. Really consider subscribing to the channel. It'll help us to make more videos like this. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.